Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you, and we're ready to go.
Great. So good morning. Hello, my name is Luz Molina Lopez, Chair of the California Board of Accountancy's Committee on Professional Conduct. And I would like to call our meeting to order. Welcome. Please note that CBA members may view any committee meeting they do not sit on only as an observer and remain as an attendee until their scheduled committee meeting, at which time they will be moved to the participants panel. At which time, I'm sorry, I will turn the meeting over to Ms. Reed to take roll call and establish a quorum. When Ms. Reed calls your name, please unmute your microphone and state your name. Then remember to mute yourself afterwards. Ms. Reed, please go ahead.
Luz Molina Lopez.
Luz Molina, present.
Dan Jacobson. Dan Jacobson. Your microphone might be muted. Sochi Leon.
Present, Sochi Leon.
Dee Dee Owens.
Present.
Michael Savoy.
Present.
And Dan Jacobson.
The moderator, I apologize for interrupting. Dan Jacobson, if we can do a quick.
Dan Jacobson, I am here, and the machine just keeps giving me different directions on how to unmute myself. I apologize.
And we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank CBA staff and the Solid team for their assistance in facilitating this virtual meeting. The CBA's mission is to protect consumers by ensuring only qualified licensees practice public accountancy in accordance with established professional standards. This mission is derived from the statutory requirement that protection of the public shall be the highest priority for the California Board of Accountancy in exercising its licensing, regulatory, and disciplinary functions. Whenever the protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. Before we convene, please be advised that the meeting is being conducted consistent with the provisions of Governor Gavin Newsom's Executive Order N-08-21. Members of the public interested in participating in the meeting must join the WebEx meeting. Information and instructions are posted on our website. All lines are currently on mute. As I facilitate this meeting to allow for proceeding in an orderly manner, lines will remain on mute until I direct staff to open them for public comments. I will announce when we are accepting public comments on the various issues, and staff will open the lines as appropriate. 5 minutes will be allotted to each individual providing comments. I would like to remind committee members and others speaking during the meeting to use the raised hand feature. It's on the participants tab, sorry. If you wish to make a motion, ask a question, or make a comment. This approach is necessary to facilitate the meeting and ensure the committee has the opportunity to complete its necessary business. I appreciate everyone's understanding. So we can move on to the agenda items. Agenda item 1, which is a public comment for items not on the September meeting agenda. The moderator will provide general instructions and then open it up for public comment. Moderator, please go ahead.
Thank you. This is the moderator. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate in public comment, click the Q&A icon located at the bottom right corner of your WebEx screen. It's typically in the bottom right corner. If you're using other devices, it might be located elsewhere. And in the ask field that appears, type, I would like to make a public comment, and send it to all panelists. And when prompted, click the unmute me button. Committee Chair, no requests have been submitted. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you. Agenda item 2 is approval of the minutes of our July 23rd, 2021 Committee on Professional Conduct meeting. If any member would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 23rd, 2021 CPC meeting, please do so by using the raised hand feature, and I will call upon you to make a motion. Ms. Dee Dee Owens,
Yes, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 2021 meeting.
thank you. May I have a second? Ms. Sochi Leon,
I second it.
thank you. Are there any questions from any of the committee members? Seeing none, I don't see hands raised. I will now turn it over to the moderator to see if any members of the public would like to make a comment. Moderator?
Members of the public, the instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click that Q&A icon and type "I would like to make a comment" in the Ask field and send it to all panelists. Committee Chair, no requests have been submitted. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please do so. And I believe we are ready for a roll call vote. Ms. Reed, will you please proceed?
Dan Jacobson,
Yes.
Sochi Leon,
Here.
Luz Molina Lopez,
Yes.
and Ms. Leon, was that a yes from you for the motion?
Oh, yes. Apologize.
Dee Dee Owens
Yes.
and Michael Savoy.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Wonderful, thank you. It's still a little early. Agenda item number 3 is the discussion and possible action to initiate a rulemaking to Title 16, California Code of Regulation, Code 41, Firm Responsibilities, and Section 50.1, Client Notification regarding accounting firms providing attest services with ownership comprised solely of certified public accountants who have not completed an attest experience requirement. Mr. Franzella, would you please begin your presentation on this agenda item for us?
Thank you. And yes, good morning, members. I am Dominic Franzella, and I am the CBA's Chief of Enforcement. This agenda item is provided so that the CBA may consider taking action to amend California Code of Regulations Title 16, or we'll just refer to it as Cba Regulations Section 41 and 50.1, to address select accounting firms that provide attest services when the ownership is comprised solely of certified public accountants who have not completed the attest experience requirement. The CBA is being asked to review and approve the proposed language for CBA Regulations Section 41 and 50.1, found in attachments 1 and 2, respectively, and direct staff to initiate the rulemaking process. In your materials on this item, on the top of page 2, members will see the CPC previously considered the overall topic in January of last year. And at that time, the CBA adopted the CPC's recommendation regarding 4 policy changes related to accounting firms that provide attest services when the ownership is comprised solely of CPAs who have not completed the attest experience requirement. Item 1 on the list focuses on changes to peer review notifications. Item 2 on the list focuses on increased notification requirements to potential attest clients. And items 3 and 4 on the list focus on enforcement-related aspects. The item before the members today seeks to begin addressing items 1 and 2. After discussion, staff have determined these items can be addressed via the rulemaking process, whereas items 3 and 4 will require statutory changes, and staff continue to work on how best to develop and draft language to be added to the Accountancy Act. Staff will bring back items 3 and 4 at a later date for members' consideration. So the first change staff have noted in the materials would be the CBA Regulations Section 41, with the specific language noted in Attachment 1. In this change, where the ownership of the accounting firm is comprised solely of licensees who are not authorized to sign attest reports on attest engagements, the accounting firm shall provide written notice to the peer reviewer or peer review team that the accounting firm has no owner authorized to sign reports on attest engagements. This notification would be required prior to the commencement of the peer review. The second change would be the Cba Regulations Section 50.1 and the client notification requirement with the specific language noted in Attachment 2. Presently, Section 50.1 requires notification to the client or potential client regarding the fact that the owners of the accounting firm are not authorized to sign reports on attest engagements, with accounting firms needing to comply with this prior to engaging in these services. Presently, accounting firms can accomplish this notification one of two ways: through written notification signed and dated by the client or prospective client and retained in the client's records, which states that the client or the prospective client understands that no owners are authorized to sign reports on attest engagements, or by posting a written notice on the accounting firm's website disclosing the owner's names and whether each is authorized to sign reports on attest engagements. Staff's proposed amendment to Cba Regulations Section 50.1 would require accounting firms to provide attest services, but do not have any owners authorized to sign reports on attest engagements to provide a notification to the client of the name and the license number of the CPA the firm is authorized to sign the attest reports on behalf of the accounting firm. And the proposed amendment also removes the website posting notification method, ensuring that consumers receive a more direct notification. So at this time, staff recommend that the CBA make a motion to approve the regulatory text in CBA Regulations Section 40.1 and Section 41 and Section 50.1. Direct staff to submit the text to the Director of the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency for review. And if no adverse comments are received, authorize the executive officer to take all steps necessary to initiate the rulemaking process, make any non-substantive changes to the package, and set the matter for hearing if one is requested. At this time, I'd like to turn discussion back over to the chair, and I'll do my best to answer any members' questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Franzella. Members, let's have a discussion about this. Would any member like to raise their hand to begin the discussion, offer support for the regulatory language that is being proposed? Ms. Dee Dee Owens?
Yes, thank you for the briefing. Just a few questions. First, how prevalent is this? How often does this situation occur where the firm has basically the ability to do this, but the partners within the firm do not?
So, Ms. Owens, we actually have no way of actually tracking that information because we do not issue firm licenses based on an A or a G level of service like we do for individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So a firm is authorized to perform the full range of services, presumably related to whatever the licensees are employed with that firm. So as we do not track this, I can't give a specific number or how prevalent it is. But I will say the trend in licensing is that there are far more Gs being issued compared to attest level licenses. I want to say it's probably close to 2/3 to 1/3, if not getting closer to 70-30 in the amount of G licensees. So part of this is, while this is reactionary to a matter that came to our attention through the enforcement process, it's also setting us up to make sure that we're putting in proper checks and balances as the G licensee probably becomes the more prevalent license going forward.
Okay, no, thank you for that answer. I think that makes my second question moot since we don't have an ability to know at the beginning. So no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Owens. Are there any other members who would like to make a comment or ask a question? I did have a question, Mr. Franzella. I know that we had previously chatted about consultants, and I'm still a little unclear. Would this be the scenario for a consultant, like a agency needing to hire a consultant because they need to provide this attest experience to one of their clients?
Sorry, I apologize. I'm not sure I understand the question. Who's hiring the consulting in this particular matter? Is it the accounting firm itself, or so you can't gain a test experience through consulting or hiring an outside consultant to oversee the firm's work. But if the firm is is owned solely by a licensee or owned solely by licensees who don't have the authority to sign a test reports, they may contract out to have the services done by a licensee who has that experience. But regardless, they would have to meet the notification requirements as is outlined in 50.1, and they would have to meet the Section 41 requirements to notify the peer review or peer reviewer team related to the fact that the owners who the firm is, when the firm issued that audit report, none of the owners had a test experience or authority to sign a test reports.
Thank you. Ms. Leon, would you like to ask your question?
Yes. So I had a similar question as Ms. Dee Owens, and I'm just trying to get the sense of the magnitude of what we're trying to fix here. I think being transparent makes sense. My question is, are there any thoughts or opinions around unintended consequences from this recommendation? I see that there are no fiscal or economic impacts.
So I can only speak from staff's perspective on this particular issue. It's the Section 50.1 has been around, I want to say, since around 2007. So this is not a new phenomenon, that this idea of accounting firms with ownership solely comprised of licensees who aren't authorized to sign the test reports. It's been around since we started issuing the G license. So the board took steps back in 2007 or 8 to implement some type of notification requirement to the clients or prospective clients. I think this is taking an added step, in as much as it's required. They can't just use the website to meet that requirement, coupled with they also have to identify which CPA they've authorized to do the work, which is not something they have to do now, so that that consumer can look up that signer to determine whether or not there's some enforcement action that had previously been imposed by the board on that individual. So I think it's increased consumer notification, and it doesn't somehow limit or expand the functions that are being already performed by these particular firms.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Owens?
Yes, I have another follow-up question that kind of triggered for me. Do we have information on, from the enforcement process, has this been an issue that has come up where we've had enforcement matters that tie to this situation?
So yes, Ms. Owens, the actual the paper that kind of predated the January paper the CPC took up last year, I want to say started sometime in September of 19, started as the result of an enforcement action that the board had taken and had identified some potential holes that may exist, or some improvements that could be performed in order to make both the consumer notification better, and the enforcement process, closing any loopholes that may have existed related to the signer versus the owner, and who takes responsibility for that report when it's issued. So it was an enforcement matter. We've had a few others come through, at least related to the notification requirement and whether or not they performed those. So while it's not prevalent now, I do believe this has the potential to become more prevalent over time as the G licensee population continues to grow and continue to be able, an audit and the test services are still needed by the consumers.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions or comments regarding this item? Or if we're ready to proceed to a motion, I would be entertaining that now. Ms. Owens?
I move to adopt the motion.
Thank you. So this will be to accept the proposed language by the CBA regulations for the CBA regulations cited earlier and direct staff to initiate a rulemaking process. Ms. Leon,
I second the motion.
thank you very much. Are there any other questions from members of the committee? Moderator, we could also, I'm sorry, Ms. Leon, did you have another question? Your hand is still raised. Okay. Moderator, we can go ahead and open it up. At this time, I will be happy to take any public comments on this item.
Thank you. This is the moderator. Members of the public, the instructions are on the screen for your reference. Simply click the Q&A icon located at the bottom right corner of your WebEx screen. Type, I would like to make a comment in the Ask field and click Send to all panelists. And then click the Unmute Me button when prompted. So I do have a individual that would like to make a comment, Jason Fox. Jason, I will unmute your microphone in just a moment. And I apologize, committee chair. Was there a time limit to public comment?
I'm sorry, I don't know if there is a time limit.
Okay.
Would staff be able to chime in on that?
Five minutes. Okay. Thank you for confirming that's 5 minutes. And Mr. Fox, you have been requested to be unmuted.
This is Jason Fox with the California Society of CPAs. I just want to make a comment. While we don't have a necessary position on these proposals, I do want to compliment the staff for at least for taking a thoughtful approach. I mean, this is certainly a complex issue and certainly can be more challenging looking at how the licensee population is going forward. So I think the first approaches certainly fit with the current regulations in this space, and we're happy to have conversations on more substantive changes in the option 3 and 4 that would require more conversations down the road. So with that, thank you.
Committee chair, no further requests have been submitted. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator. So I believe we're ready for a roll call vote unless there are any other questions or comments. Seeing none, we can proceed to the vote. Ms. Reed?
Dan Jacobson,
Yes.
Soshi Leon,
Yes.
Luz Molina Lopez,
Yes.
Dee Dee Owens,
Yes.
and Michael Savoy.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you very much, moderator. Let's move on to agenda item number 4. Agenda items for our next meeting. Do any members wish to request that any items be placed on the next Committee on Professional Conduct meeting agenda? If so, please raise your hand on the Participants tab. Seeing that there are none, I believe we're ready to adjourn. So I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you.